We are live. I was about to say, are we going to wait till exactly at noon? And then it became noon as I was saying it. And I said, oh, there we go.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
I am old new dude. He is.
Richard York, Asher's trueborn son.
If you're here, you made it through the weekend just fine. I made it through, but I'm tired. Behind me looks a little bit different. Most of my man cave is packed up. We got some stuff packed up, moved into the garage and all that kind of stuff. So we're sitting better than we were. Still not quite sure exactly when we're moving in. I was explaining to Richard that we're waiting on a septic tank and drainage field once around with the bobcat leveling stuff out, and then the gravel
Hey,
driveway. Hey, Nettles.
nice
So,
to see you here.
oh, yep, everything is kind of all over the place in here. Let me get back on track. There we go. This is a Clash of Kings. Doesn't count as two, does he? It's a Clash of Kings Sansa 7. The Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me Again. Yeah,
Jeff
it's
says
true.
you can just have an outhouse.
Yeah, well, he lives in a swamp. He can just stand on the front porch and just let the gators eat.
Nettles asked if you got a new haircut.
Yeah. This has been a while. At least a month, maybe even longer than that.
No,
I'm sitting there reading the. Yeah, I've only worn them a couple times. Yeet. All right, the Classic Kings, Sons of Seven. This is a pretty good chapter.
Sing, little bird, sing for your little life.
Yeah, it's not the beginning of San, but it is beginning adjacent.
Toodles is written about it being their marriage.
Oh, but he didn't actually leave with her.
Oh, but he gives her his cloak.
Ooh.
Offers protection, gives her his cloak. She expects him to kiss her. She remembers him kissing her.
I
Anyway,
didn't catch that.
yeah,
You got to
it's
forward
a
that,
cloak.
man. I definitely got to read that.
Okay.
If you watch any of these, what do you mean no San? No, you
No,
hush.
wait, Rich looks like he has a haircut too when he turns. Okay.
Yeah, he got his cut like a week ago.
I'm sure if we haven't seen us in a month, then we probably had haircuts. That's probably true. I'm here for
I agree with Nettles. I'm
Nettles.
here for the San.
All
It ain't
right.
got to be tomorrow. She can grow a little bit older, like hit 20 or something. Then San happen. That's fine with that. But like I said,
Yeah,
this is the
absolutely.
beginning. It's beginning adjacent.
All
But
right.
okay, I
Anyway,
ain't gonna go through my spiel. Just go.
we'll have to track down the original. I mean, lots of people have talked about this marriage cloak idea, but I think it was probably originally Toodles. So I will
Yeah.
see if I can
Send
track
that
that
to
one
me for
down.
sure,
Yep.
or put it in the comments. That way everybody can read it.
Yeah, I tried to do that last time. Did it ever come through? I did it twice because it felt like it. I think YouTube might like to delete links
Oh,
anyway. But I also posted or tweeted or posted whatever the proper word is these days. Um, told children they would have.
there you go.
Yeah, that's why I think it'd be really funny if she's officially married to Tyrion and her kids are just as giant.
Oh, that would make her
Anyway,
like her father. 2 marriages.
and as at least one interpretation of Fire and Blood would have us believe, right?
Yeah, on her way to a third.
Anyway, uh, when Sir Lancel Lannister told the Queen that the battle was lost, she turned her empty wine cup in her hands and said, "Tell my brother, sir." Her voice was distant, as if the news were of no great interest to her. "Your brother's likely dead." Sir Lancel's surcoat was soaked with the blood seeping out under his arm. When he had arrived in the hall, the sight of him had made some of the guests scream. He was on the bridge of boats when it broke apart, we think. Sir Mandan's likely gone as well, and no one can find the hound. Gods be damned, Cersei! Why did you have them fetch Joffrey back to the castle? The gold cloaks are throwing down their spears and running, hundreds of them. When they saw the king leaving, they lost all heart. The whole Blackwater's awash with wrecks and fire and corpses. But we could have held if... Osney Kettleblack pushed past him. There's fighting on both sides of the river now, your grace. It may be that some of Stannis' lords are fighting each other. No one's sure. It's all confused over there. The hound's gone, no one knows where, and Sir Balin's fallen back inside the city. The riverside's theirs. They're ramming at the King's Gate again, and Sir Lancel's right. Your men are deserting the walls and killing their own officers. There's mobs at the Iron Gate and the Gate of the Gods fighting to get out. And Fleabottom's one great drunken riot. Gods be good, Sansa thought. It's happening. Joffrey's lost his head, and so have I. She looked for Sir Ilyn, but the king's justice was not to be seen. I can feel him, though. He's close. I'll not escape him. He'll have my head.
Hey, that's weird.
Yeah. Is it?
That she feels him. He's close.
Yeah, it's really kind of strange.
Also,
I don't know what to make of that.
If the gold cloaks and all the deserting and all that stuff hadn't taken place, would Tyrion's actual plan worked and not needed Tywin to finish it off?
I don't know. They certainly would have held out longer, and eventually, So yeah, maybe.
Okay.
So maybe this is, maybe this is some remnants of an original timeline kind of thing. I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that lately.
Oh, there's lots of it in here.
Yeah. I want to say the last time we talked about that really good was when Kat went to the Eyrie.
There's lots of things here that make you wonder if there's significant intervention going on, and this one particularly feels like maybe it's some sort of remnant of a previous timeline kind of thing.
Okay, I'll.
Anyway, strangely calm, the queen turned to his brother Osfryd. Raise the drawbridge and bar the doors. No one enters or leaves Maegor's without my leave. What about them women who went to pray? They chose to leave my protection. Let them pray. Perhaps the gods will defend them. Where's my son? The castle gatehouse. He wanted to command the crossbowmen. There's a mob howling outside, half of them gold cloaks who came with him when he left the Mudgate. Bring him inside Maegor's now. No! Lancel was so angry he forgot to keep his voice down. Heads turned toward them as he shouted. We'll have the Mudgate all over again. Let him stay where he is. He's the king. He's my son. Cersei Lannister rose to her feet. You claim to be a Lannister as well, cousin. Prove it. Osfryd, why are you standing there? Now means today.
Hey, she was the one that wanted the king back.
Yep.
So she's the one that set in motions for everything that followed.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you think that may have required intervention? I don't know. Maybe. Osfryd Kettleblack.
Well, I mean, stop and think about it, though. She's like, why did you have... She blamed somebody else, and we're thinking in our mind that she doesn't accept responsibility. But what if she doesn't remember actually being the one that pulled the king back?
Okay. It's interesting. All right, where was I? Osfryd Kettleblack hurried from the hall, his brother with him. Many of the guests were rushing out as well. Some of the women were weeping, some praying. Others simply remained at the tables and called for more wine. Cersei, Sir Lancel pleaded. If we lose the castle, Joffrey will be killed in any case. You know that. Let him stay. I'll keep him by me, I swear. Get out of my way. Cersei slammed her open palm into his wound. Sir Lancel cried out in pain and almost fainted as the queen swept through the room. She spared Sansa not so much as a glance. She's forgotten me. Sir Ilyn will kill me, and she won't even think about it. That's Cersei in a nutshell. Oh, gods, an old woman wailed. We're lost. The battle's lost. She's running. Several children were crying. They can smell the fear. Sansa found herself alone on the dais. Should she stay here or run after the queen and plead for her life? She never knew why she got to her feet, but she did. Don't be afraid, she told them loudly. The queen has raised the drawbridge. This is the safest place in the city. There's thick walls, the moat, the spikes. So are the old gods giving her strength? A gentle supporting nudge from her baby brother, mayhaps?
Mayhap.
What's happened? Demanded a woman she knew slightly, the wife of a lesser lordling. What did Osney tell her? Is the king hurt? Has the city fallen? Tell us, someone else shouted. One woman asked about her father, another her son. Sansa raised her hands for quiet. Joffrey's come back to the castle. He's not hurt. They're still fighting. That's all I know. They're fighting bravely. The queen will be back soon. The last was a lie, but she had to soothe them. She noticed the fool standing under the galley. Moonboy, make us laugh. Moonboy did a cartwheel and vaulted on top of a table. He grabbed up 4 wine cups and began to juggle them. Every so often, one of them would come down and smash him in the head. A few nervous laughs echoed through the hall. Sansa went to Sir Lancel and knelt beside him. His wound was bleeding afresh where the queen had struck him. Madness, he gasped. Gods, the imp was right. What madness is this? Anyway.
Hey, quick thing. He was sitting there holding his wound, but the bleeding had stopped, which meant good news for him. Cersei hits it again, and it starts bleeding again, and we know this wound damn near kills him.
Yep.
Okay. I was just getting that out there.
Also, Moonboy's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
this sounds like an incredible routine. Anyway. Help him, Sansa commanded 2 of the serving men. One just looked at her and ran, flagon and all. Other servants were leaving the hall as well, but she could not help that. Together, Sansa and the serving man got the wounded knight back on his feet. Take him to Maester Franken. Sansa was one of them, yet somehow she still could not bring herself to wish him dead. I am soft and weak and stupid, just as Joffrey says. I should be killing him, not helping him. Perhaps the gods are not done with him.
Which gods?
Oh, I'm thinking of the old gods, but
yeah, so
the torches had begun to burn low, and 1 or 2 had flickered out. No one troubled to replace them. Cersei did not return. Sir Dontos climbed the dais while all eyes were on the other fool. Go back to your bedchamber, sweet Jonquil, he whispered. Lock yourself in. You'll be safer there. I'll come for you when the battle's done. Someone will come for me, Sansa thought. But will it be you, or will it be Sir Ilyn? For a mad moment, she thought of begging Dontos to defend her. He had been a knight too, trained with a sword and sworn to defend the weak. No, he's lost the courage or the skill. I would only be killing him as well. So that is another one of those sudden impulses that somebody resists.
Right. We see a lot of that in this story.
How does Sansa serve the overall story?
It makes my heart grow fonder.
Yeah, sometimes it's just for fun. That's certainly there's definitely things that George just throws in for fun. That's for sure.
I'm assuming that it has to do with something involving her, Winterfell, and there's a theory that he's going to be her Queen's Guard, or he's going to be her spouse, because we know by looking in Tyrion's mind that he says that the North respects warriors. So someone sitting on the chair, if it was a woman, would have to have a strong warrior beside her to gain the respect of all the North, or something like that.
Well, it kind of reminds me of what Guy has said, right? Which is that paternity is only an issue if people decide to make it an issue,
right?
And so if he's her sworn sword or sworn shield, and she's actually winds up married to Tyrion, as we were sort of just speculating moments ago.
Yeah.
Then it kind of creates some echoes of some interpretations of past history. And
could it be a mage? Yeah, I like. Could it be like a Mage Mormont type thing that Lady Mormont was with such a lower person that we never hear about him, and all the children are still Mormonts? Would it be the same thing kind of with Sansa, that a non-knighted person from the south of a smaller house being her husband, then all the children are still Starks?
So Girl Nettles, we were sort of, I was sort of alluding to Harwin Strong, right? Um, that the concept being that you're officially married to one person, but your sworn sword is actually the one that's the father of the children, at least in the more popular interpretation of that particular history.
There you go.
Where were we?
It took all her strength.
He has not the courage or the skill. I would only be killing him as well, right? Right. It took all the strength she had in her to walk slowly from the queen's ballroom when she wanted so badly to run. When she reached the steps, she did run, up and around until she was breathless and dizzy. One of the guards knocked into her on the stair. A jeweled wine cup and a pair of silver candlesticks spilled out of the crimson cloak he'd wrapped them in and went clattering down the steps. He hurried after them, paying Sansa no mind once he decided she was not going to try and take his loot. Her bedchamber was black as pitch. Sansa barred the door and fumbled through the dark to the window. When she ripped back the drapes, her breath caught in her throat. The southern sky was a swirl with glowing, shifting colors, the reflections of the great fires that burned below. Baleful green tides moved against the bellies of the clouds, and pools of orange light spread out across the heavens. The reds and yellows of common flame warred against the emeralds and jades of wildfire, each color flaring and then fading, birthing armies of short-lived shadows to die again an instant later. Green dawns gave way to orange dusks in half a heartbeat. The air itself smelled burnt, the way a soup kettle sometimes smelled if it was left on the fire too long and all the soup boiled away. Embers drifted through the night air like swarms of fireflies. There's a whole lot of symbolism there.
Yeah.
Santan is like Beauty and the Beast to me. Who are some Beauty and the Beast couples?
Yeah,
I don't know.
before we answer that real quick, I know I've mentioned it on here before. Allison Patient does a fairy tale Game of Thrones comparison about all the fairy tale references in the story. But I mean, yeah. She does a really good job of pointing out, because there's a ton of them in here. Apparently, I didn't know that, but I agree with that. This is the Beauty and the Beast, without a doubt. I mean, but
does Ned and Catelyn count as Beauty and the Beast?
We also have again with Sansa. You got Sansa and Tyrion. But when it comes to Sansa and Sandor, which is the beauty and which is the beast?
We do that in book club too.
Occasionally, when we can get to the chapters.
I've noticed all of Dude's favorites are the guys who murder or try to murder innocent children. No, Ned and Cat don't count. Okay, well, did Tyrion and Sansa count?
Yeah, but what was he wearing, Pod? What was he wearing?
Anyway, where were we? All right. Yeah, there's a lot of symbolism there, right? This whole war of the colors and anyway, it's very interesting. Very interesting imagery.
Yeah.
Sansa's a beast inside. Yeah, she is. All right.
Yeah, especially if she has lady inside.
She has lady inside. Yep. Yeah. And Tyrion does count. All right. Sansa backed away from the window. Well, and he may count twice. He's a bigamist. Sansa backed away from the window, retreating toward the safety of her bed. I'll go to sleep, she told herself. And when I wake, it will be a new day, and the sky will be blue again. The fighting will be done, and someone will tell me whether I'm to live or die. Lady, she whimpered softly, wondering if she would meet her wolf again when she was dead. Of course, we think her wolf is already living its second life inside of her.
It's funny we said that right before this paragraph.
Yeah.
It's like Hidden Fingers in real life.
Then something stirred behind her, and a hand reached out of the dark and grabbed her wrist. Sansa opened her mouth to scream, but another hand clamped down over her face, smothering her. His fingers were rough and calloused and sticky with blood. Little bird, I knew you'd come. The voice was a drunken rasp. Outside, a swirling lance of jade light spit at the stars, filling the room with green glare. She saw him for a moment, all black and green, the blood on his face dark as tar, his eyes glowing like a dog's in the sudden glare. Then the light faded, and he was only a hulking darkness in a stained white cloak. If you scream, I'll kill you. Believe that. He took his hand from her mouth. Her breath was coming ragged. The hound had a flagon of wine on her bedside table. He took a long pull. Don't you want to ask who's winning the battle, little bird? Who? She said, too frightened to defy him. The hound laughed. I only know who's lost. Me. He's drunker than I've ever seen him. He was sleeping in my bed. What does he want here? What have you lost? All. The burnt half of his face was a mask of dried blood. Bloody dwarf. Should have killed him years ago. He's dead, they say. Dead? No, bugger that. I don't want him dead. He cast the empty flagon aside. I want him burned. If the gods are good, they'll burn him, but I won't be here to see. I'm going. Going? She tried to wriggle free, but his grasp was iron. The little bird repeats whatever she hears. Going, yes. Where will you go? Away from here. Away from the fires. Go out the iron gate, I suppose. North somewhere. Anywhere. You won't get out, Sansa said. The queen's closed up Magor's, and the city gates are shut as well. Not to me. I have the white cloak, and I have this. He patted the pommel of his sword. The man who tries to stop me is a dead man, unless he's on fire. He laughed bitterly. So dead or fire sounds a bit like Beric Dondarrion, so maybe this is foreshadowing.
A little bit.
And of course, he's not actually going to have his cloak, as we've discussed. Why did you come here? You promised me a song, little bird. Have you forgotten? She didn't know what he meant. She couldn't sing for him now, here with the sky aswirl with fire and men dying in their hundreds and their thousands. I can't, she said. Let me go. You're scaring me. Everything scares you. Look at me. Look at me. The blood masked the worst of his scars, but his eyes were white and wide and terrifying. The burnt corner of his mouth twitched and twitched again. Sansa could smell him, a stink of sweat and sour wine and stale vomit, and over it all the reek of blood, blood, blood. The little bird repeats. This line reminds me of the crows repeating messages. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, also with the blood, Mormont's crow does the exact same thing.
Sansa's a crow now? Yeah. LML's talked about that, how it sure seems like all this little bird stuff is pointing to the idea that she's going to skin change a bird at some point.
Could she be a three-eyed crow?
I don't think she's the three-eyed crow, but
I had to throw it out there. I mean,
sure.
You never know. You don't know her life.
Every time Sansa's compared to a bird, I imagine it's a different bird. Okay. I could keep you safe, he rasped. They're all afraid of me. No one would hurt you again, or I'd kill them. He yanked her closer, and for a moment she thought he meant to kiss her. He was too strong to fight. She closed her eyes, wanting it to be over, but nothing happened. Still can't bear to look, can you? She heard him say. He gave her arm a hard wrench, pulling her around and shoving her down onto the bed. I'll have that song. Florian and Jonquil, you said. His dagger was out, poised at her throat. Sing, little bird, sing for your little life. Her throat was dry and tight with fear, and every song she had ever known had fled from her mind. Please don't kill me, she wanted to scream. Please don't. She could feel him twisting the point, pushing it into her throat. She almost closed her eyes again, but then she remembered. It was not the song of Florian and Jonquil, but it was a song. Her voice sounded small and thin and tremulous in her ears. So ironically, this could be the old gods inspiring her to sing about the new, which of course is the only thing that might reach Sandor. Sometimes a nightingale, now a crow. Did she take his cloak with her when she fled King's Landing? Yes, she does. She specifically has the green. She dyes it green to remove the blood stains and things. We do hear about it later. So I'm pretty sure that the last time some of these lyrics are literally the same as last time, and I'm pretty sure I was actually doing Beethoven last time. But anyway, so I don't see a reason to change the melody. It seems to fit the words quite nicely.
There you go.
Gentle mother, font of mercy, save our sons from war, we pray. Stay the swords and stay the arrows, let them know a better day. Gentle mother, strength of women, help our daughters through this fray. Soothe the wrath and tame the fury, teach us all a kinder way.
I think he had that song in mind when he wrote it.
It sure seems like it fits well. It's
Yeah.
some poetry. Once you know which songs fit, it's hard not to do them to the music. And I'm thinking of Emily Dickinson. If you know which song I'm thinking of,
No, I'm reading what Lizzie just wrote.
record deal pending. Um, the so if you've ever once somebody tells you it's almost impossible to read Emily Dickinson and not do it, I want to watch Die Hard. Um, the or maybe A Clockwork Orange, but the the so um, Emily Dickinson, even the words that tend to get the lines that tend to be repetitive, like happen to hit exactly in the same spot as the theme to Gilligan's Island. Because I would not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. Anyway, I'm sorry, I just ruined all of Emily Dickinson for you.
I'm actually going to have to listen to that.
uh, she had forgotten the other verses. When her voice trailed off, she feared he might kill her. But after a moment, the hound took the blade from her throat, never speaking. Some instinct made her lift her hand and cup his cheek with her fingers. That also sounds like it could be a little bit of a divine inspiration here.
Yeah.
The room was too dark for her to see him, but she could feel the stickiness of the blood and a wetness that was not blood. Little bird, he said once more, his voice raw and harsh as steel on stone. Then he rose from the bed. Sansa heard cloth ripping, followed by the softer sound of retreating footsteps. So he's just ripped off his cloak, right?
Right.
When she crawled out of bed long moments later, she was alone. She found his cloak on the floor, twisted up tight, the white wool stained by blood and fire. The sky outside was darker by then, with only a few pale green ghosts dancing against the stars. A chill wind was blowing, banging the shutters. Sansa was cold. She shook out the torn cloak and huddled beneath it on the floor, shivering. Again, like Toodles might have been the first to argue that this is the marriage cloak symbolism. How long she stayed there, she could not have said, but after a time she heard a bell ringing, far off across the city. The sound was a deep-throated bronze booming, coming faster with each knell. Sansa was wondering what it might mean when a second bell joined in, and a third, their voices calling across the hills and hollows, the alleys and towers, to every corner of King's Landing. She threw off the cloak and went to her window. The first faint hint of dawn was visible in the east, and the Red Keep's own bells were ringing now, joining in the swelling river of sound that flowed from the 7 crystal towers of the great sept of Baelor. They had rung the bells when King Robert died, she remembered, but this was different. No slow, dolorous death knell, but a joyful thunder. She could hear men shouting in the streets as well, and something that could only be cheers. It was Sir Dantos who brought her the word. He staggered through her open door, wrapped her in his flabby arms, and whirled her around and around the room, whooping so incoherently that Sansa understood not a word of it. He was as drunk as the hound had been, but in him it was a dancing, happy drunk. She was breathless and dizzy when he let her down. What is it? She clutched at a bedpost. What's happened? Tell me. It's done. 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 The city is saved. Lord Stannis is dead. Lord Stannis is fled. No one knows. No one cares. His host is broken. The danger is done. Slaughtered, scattered, or gone over, they say. Oh, the bright banners. The banners, Jonquil. The banners. Do you have any wine? We ought to drink to this day. Yes. It means you're safe, don't you see? Tell me what's happened. Sansa shook him. Sir Dantos laughed and hopped from one leg to the other, almost falling. They came up through the ashes while the river was burning. The river. Stannis was neck deep in the river, and they took him from the rear. Oh, to be a knight again, to have been part of it. His own men hardly fought, they say. Some ran, but more bent than Ian went over, shouting for Lord Renly. What must Stannis have thought when he heard that? I had it from Osney Kettleblack, who had it from Sir Osmond. But Sir Balin's back now, and his men say the same. And the gold cloaks as well. We're delivered, sweetling. They came up the Rose Road and along the riverbank, through all the fields Stannis had burned, the ashes puffing up around their boots and turning all their armor gray. But oh, the banners must have been bright, the Golden Rose and Golden Lion and all the others, the Marburn Tree and the Rowan, Tarley's Huntsman and Redwine's Grapes and Lady Oakheart's Leaf, all the Westermen, all the power of Highgarden and Casterly Rock. Lord Tywin himself had their right wing on the north side of the river, with Randall Tarley commanding the center and Mace Tyrell on the left. But the vanguard won the fight. They plunged through Stannis like a lance through a pumpkin, every man of them howling like some demon in steel. Do you know who led the vanguard? Do you? Do you? Do you? Sansa, knowing how he would react, faces with battle, and Dantos acting like he wishes he'd been there always makes me chuckle. Yeah, that's a good point. It's also given that he's told us that they were swearing to Lord Renly, right? It's like why would they do that with anybody else, right? I mean, there's only one explanation for why they would be doing that. So anyway,
Right. Well, I mean, at this point on the first read,
yeah,
this is the drunk guy. So I mean, you don't automatically jump to somebody in Renly's army or armor,
sure,
right? And you're
sure.
thinking, okay, Dantos is
No,
drunk, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
and the first time you read these books, you're not even trying to figure things out. You're just trying to absorb
Exactly.
and see what happens, right? So, anyway,
Yeah.
Mother Royne is here, tardy to the party in Chicago because of a leaky roof. Old
Uh-oh.
house built in 1925.
Well, we're just glad you're here.
Yeah, absolutely. Robb, it was too much to be hoped, but it was Lord Renly. Lord Renly in his green armor with the fires shimmering off his golden antlers. Lord Renly with his tall spear in his hand. They say he killed Sir Geard Morgan himself in single combat and a dozen other great knights as well. It was Renly. It was Renly. It was Renly. Oh, the banners, darling Sansa. Oh, to be a knight. Uh-huh. As this was just saying. So, a man believed dead with troops surprising the attackers saved them as the King's Guard turned on their leader. So we've talked about this pattern many times, and it's also interesting that these are gray. This is a gray army of marching through the ashes, like rising like a phoenix.
Yeah. I think it's funny that is the second time we've had Dantos do the three-peat on a phrase or a word, like Mormont's Crow and like we saw Sansa do a little bit earlier.
Yep. Up next is Class 63, Daenerys 5, introducing Strong Belwas and Arston Whitebeard.
Ooh. I love
Speaking of
me some
people back from the
Whitebeard.
dead.
Huh?
Speaking of people coming back from the dead,
Exactly.
Arston's disappeared for, isn't revealed for an entire book. He's gone from mid to late first book and doesn't, his name doesn't appear again. And well, maybe it does. He may have been mentioned by somebody, but he's not referring to him as a present character anyway. Anyway, yeah, his name definitely appeared because we know that Renly and Stannis were wondering where he was.
Right. Lizzie says, at least as a fool, he remembers to put on his pants.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
One of the things I always like to.
We're not actually told that he has pants on or his pants off, so we don't know in that scene.
So the next chapter is going to be long, of course, because we need to go from our frantic pace of back and forths to more of to slow it down, right, and have more information. Yeah. And so I kind of like to mention now that Jiqui's name is 5 characters long, with the second and second and last one being the primary vowel sound of the name, right? Mm-hmm. And Erie's name is 4 characters long with that same vowel as the first and last character. Erie teaches Dany how to ride a horse, supposedly, although in reality she shares a single mind with her horse, and as if she were Lyanna's daughter or something. But anyway,
she was didn't her brother tell her that they needed to wash the stables off of her before she met.
Okay.
So,
okay, but I'm more talking about the similarities between Jiqui and Sansa and Erie and Arya here, right? So so in addition to their names implying that there's, I did mention that Dany's Lyanna's daughter, but anyway, but I was just trying to say that if we're going back to Dany, I always like to point out that that the idea is that Jiqui teaches everything else because she seems to be better at everything else than besides horseback riding, and um, and then in Dance with Dragons, he finally tells us, oh, by the way, Jiqui is this curvy feminine person, and Erie is this tomboy, boyish looking person, right? And he was kind of very slowly revealing, and it's funny because most of the fandom's like, oh, these are two interchangeable people. I'm like, they're like complete opposites.
They're Sansa and Arya, right?
They are. They're Sansa
Okay.
and Arya, and that's the intention. And
I
he's
never caught
portraying
that
them.
until you just said that.
Yeah, no, that's the entire concept of these two is that they're supposed to be, and they even look completely opposite once he finally tells us that in
Yeah.
Dance with Dragons, and yet a lot of the fandom just thinks they're two interchangeable people when they're specifically supposed to be Sansa and
George is slick.
Arya. I know.
Oh, speaking of George, when I logged into Google to go to StreamYard, there apparently is a new George update on wins.
Oh,
I
and there's
haven't.
also a new Eldrick video. If you haven't watched the fifth video of Eldrick,
No, I haven't. I'll look for it.
Eldrick Stoneskin has his fifth video out.
It's fifth. I can't remember if I watched the fourth one or not.
No, watch the fourth one again, and then watch the fifth one.
There you go. Might as well.
The fifth one is largely about the Ironborn and Norse myths and what those tell us about the Starks and anyway, it's pretty cool.
If you can get it linked into the comments, I would. If you could
I
get
can always
everybody.
try, but then I come back later and I look and it's like gone, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. But at least go back to like
Google thinks that if you post links that you're spamming people, so it just gets rid of them. I think, but I can try.
I meant to ask book club. Did anybody, after saying Kentucky Ballistic over and over and over again, get Kentucky Ballistic on their YouTube? We were talking about Pod had mentioned that he had said some things in the Discord, and then the very next day they had popped up. I think on his YouTube feed. So I tried to think of a video on YouTube that none of the other people on book club would have. It might have been on the ride to school Friday.
So that's a negative. And she also wants a wins update.
No, I haven't read it. It was before coming on to this video.
No. She's just complaining she wants a wins update from George. She's not saying
I don't want an update. I want wins.
Well, yeah, of course.
All right. No. Apparently, Big Brother's not listening. Then
all of us just sitting there, just repeat it over and over. Anyway,
yeah, it was hilarious. We're sitting there for a good 2 minutes. Everybody's saying Kentucky Ballistic, Kentucky Ballistic, Kentucky Ballistic. It's a shooting show. I knew none of the other people on the phone call had seen it. So if it was YouTube listening or Big Brother listening, yeah.
See if Google would do that, huh?
Well, now to be fair, we said we were going to test it. So if they'd have heard that, they might have just canceled it because we were trying to test them. So,
yeah, yes, of course. Anyway,
yeah, I know. I'm running a little bit tired today. A lot of packing here and there. They know our game. Yeah.
All right, we'll have to check on George and see what he's talking about. Probably some update on the wild cards or something.
No, they said wins.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
it could be that could be dark wins though, right?
Ooh, I didn't think about that.
He's got he could have an update on dark winds, or they might have suspended production on it with the strikes or something along those lines.
I thought it was out already.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it was like a second season was working on.
Oh.
The first season was out, and the second season might even be out. I'm not sure.
I don't know. There's something else I wanted to talk about. I can't remember what it is now. I can't remember.
Anyway, you want me to try and track down Toodles on the marriage cloak, and
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and
granted,
maybe I'll look to.
that's what it was. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I didn't want to interrupt while we're reading, but he doesn't actually put the cloak on her to give her cloaker and his protection.
It is Dark Lands, Lizzie says.
Okay. I was like, Lane, is it a street?
Jeff, isn't that like the same thing that he said over and over again?
They said that Friday. I'm like, he's been saying that for a couple of years.
Or a year and a half, or maybe a year and a half or something. Anyway.
No. Yeah, but
he doesn't
take
come here.
He doesn't take the cloak.
Come here. Come here. Hey, Sam, can you jump up? Can you jump up?
Everybody wants to
see you. There you go. Everybody wants to see you. Yeah. Everybody wants
my
to see
Sammy
you.
is orange. How orange is your Sammy?
He's kind of orangish. He's more.
Yeah, orange and white. That's what mine is.
More blonde. Even Richard's dogs are fed up.
Even Richard's dogs are fed up.
All right, good boy. What about Leo? Leo, you want to come up here? Hey, Leo, come here.
Yeah,
Leo.
Listen, Leo.
Leo, hey, come here. Come on up. Come here. There you go.
Hey, your dog's listening about as well as my 8-year-old. Oh, look at that face. You gotta get it over a little bit.
Yes. Hey, whoops.
That was it.
Get back up here.
That was your one opportunity.
Yeah, that's all right.
All right.
Here, we'll bring it down to him.
Oh, look at that face.
Yeah, we call him our raccoon panda because he's got a raccoon face on a panda body.
Every time you see raccoon panda, I think of raccoon or Rocket off of Guardians of the Galaxy.
There you go. There you go. All right, that's enough of that.
Yeah,
I got it.
Hey, you're showing a little leg there, Richard. We don't want to have YouTube mad at us.
Oh yeah, right.
All right. 42 minutes. That's all right for a Monday.
All the dog kisses.
What was it again? Daenerys 5 will be Wednesday, same bat time, same bat channel. I appreciate everybody joining us today. It was a short video, but we discussed it before. The videos during the Battle of the Blackwater, all of them were short, and when you read it, it just kind of made it like really fast paced.
I saw your ankle, you Jezebel.
You're going to be out there in the stockades.
I'm giving Lizzie impure thoughts.
I met Lizzie. She always has impure thoughts.
She'd be the first to claim that.
Yes. All right. Well, we appreciate everybody joining us today. Those that relate, we still appreciate, and those that show up when they can, we appreciate. Is it congratulations to Nettles? Nettles, did you get married? I'll give her time to answer.
Sure. Bye, my love, she says. No,
hey, Nettles, did you get married?
She might be behind.
Oh. If anybody knows, okay, she did,
yes,
but not to me.
She did, but not to me.
Okay. Hey, look, Lizzie, what happens at Ice and Fire Con stays at Ice and Fire Con. But all right. We will see you all Wednesday. We appreciate you joining us. As always, Richard, I appreciate you very, very, very much for your
thank you, sir.
Input and basically taking over this entire live stream pretty much. They're longer than 5 minutes. I'm happy. We will see all of y'all on Wednesday. Thank you very much. If you can't get the comments to stay or the links to stay in comments, either try it on Discord or try it on even though I've banned Twitter, try it on Twitter maybe to see if we can get
that's what I did with the that's what I did with my link to Toodles.
All right. My
Okay.
Toodles, the link you give me to Toodles, just DM me, because I won't go. I won't
The
go on.
marriage book.
All right. Y'all be good.
I'll go ahead and get you. I'll get you the main all my posts link. I'll get you all three. I'll get you.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
No
All
problem.
right, everybody. We will see y'all Wednesday. Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye,
Bye.
Richard.